This video kicks off with strong, no nonsense opening calling out Congress for what it really is, a clown show of fake debates and WWE style theatrics designed to distract the public while absolutely nothing gets done. So from the jump, you make it clear this ain't about the left versus the right. It's about real versus fake. So when we dive into this viral exchange between Mike Lawler and Hakeem Jeffries, where Jeffries gets absolutely exposed, ducking real questions, throwing around weak insults, and proving he can't defend his own party's nonsense without reading off of a script. Then we peel back the curtain and break down what's actually happening. The Democrats are holding the government hostage over their obsession with keeping the money flowing to illegal migrants and bloated spending projects. And you shine a light on their phony compassion, so called, and explain how their real loyalty lies with rich blue state donors, not everyday Americans. So, from dodging a clean extension to fighting for tax breaks for the wealthy under the guise of equity, it's all a scam. And then we highlight how Jeffries embarrasses himself further, refusing to denounce radical voices in his own party and dodging questions on anti Semitism, all because he's scared of his base in the Democratic Party. So when you tie it all together with the common sense truth bomb, this shutdown isn't just politics, it's affecting TSA workers, air traffic controllers, and everyday families who actually work for a living. While these clowns put on a show, regular people are out here suffering. And then you close strong, reminding viewers that it's time to wise up because that's all Hakeem Jeffries' actions did. So we just got to stop falling for the emotional manipulation and start demanding real leadership that's built on accountability, truth, and moral clarity. And this is what I mean by us having a conversation. Now, let's check out the video.
We got a 1-year extension. Why don't we sign on right now?
Let me ask you a question. Did you get permission from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did your boss Donald Trump?
You can easily extend
Did
the ACA right now.
Did your boss Donald Trump
He's
give
not
you
my
permission?
boss.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. And by the way,
So let me ask you a
why
question.
did you vote to
Let me
shut
ask
the
you a
government
question.
down?
You
Why
know
did you
I-
vote to shut
Let
it
me
down?
ask you a question.
For years, you always
Well,
lectured about how we need to keep the government open.
You're making a show of this to
No,
make
it's
yourself
sad.
relevant.
It's sad. You could
It's
easily
an
sign on to
You're
this.
embarrassing
You
yourself
could
right
sign
now.
on to this. The only
You're
embarrassment
chasing
here is you.
clout. You're an
You
embarrassment.
could sign on to the bill.
Let me ask you a question.
You have 4 Democrats on here.
Let me
Why
ask you a
won't you
question.
sign on
Let me ask
to
you a
it?
question.
It's a
Let
clean
me ask you
extension
a
for 1
question.
year.
You voted for the one big
Clean
ugly bill,
extension.
correct?
I voted for a
The
tax cut
largest-
bill that gave the
the
largest
largest
tax
cut-
cut
the
to
largest-
Americans in history,
the
including, by
largest-
the way, the average New Yorker getting a $4,000 tax cut. Are you against that?
You're embarrassing
Do you
yourself right
you want
now.
to cut the standard deduction in
The
half? Is that
largest
what you
cut
wanted
to
to do?
Medicaid in
No, we
American
rooted
history.
out
You voted
waste,
for that.
fraud, and abuse, by the
You
way.
voted
Tom DiNapoli, the
for a
Democratic
permanent-
controller of New
Let
York,
me ask you a question.
pointed out that $1.2
If
billion
you're gonna-
wasted.
Listen, you're not gonna
wasted,
talk. You're not gonna talk to
wasted
me. You're not
on
gonna talk to me
fraud
and talk
and
over
non-New
me
York residents
because you don't
getting
want to
paid.
hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm
So
listening.
why
Go
don't you
ahead.
just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you
is
showed
that-
up.
is that the way to
you
talk?
showed up. You showed up.
Yeah.
And so you voted for this one
I
big
signed
ugly
on
bill.
for this. You can extend it
A
right now.
permanent extension of massive tax breaks for your billionaire donors.
So 90% of
So
Americans.
they can get a permanent extension.
90% of
But
Americans
working
take the
class
standard
Americans
deduction.
can't? Is that right?
90% of Americans take the standard deduction.
Is that
right?
right?
If you had your way, the standard deduction would have been cut in half. That
No
would have been a
one-
massive tax increase
no one-
on Americans all across the country.
You're
You support
here,
that?
unfortunately.
You're against
to do
lifting the cap on
bidding
salt?
Of your billionaire
You're,
donors.
the
That's
billionaire
unfortunate.
donors lifting the
That's
cap on
correct.
salt. We put a income cap in place.
Why are you here right now?
An income
Where the
cap.
re- where
Well,
the rest
didn't
of
you
your
want all
Republican
Republicans
colleagues?
to be here?
Where
I'm
the
here.
rest, where are the rest of your
You
Republican
wanted
colleagues?
Republicans to be here. I'm here.
Why are you
And
here?
by the way,
Why-
you can
What?
pass an ACA extension right now. Sign
your
on to this
boss-
bill.
Did your boss
Sign
Donald
on
Trump-
to the bill.
Is your boss Donald Trump behind you?
HR 5145. Why don't you get on it?
Mike, is your boss Donald Trump?
All right. So, like I said, this is about the real versus the fake, the principle versus the performative. And Jeffries had every chance to sign a clean 1-year extension to keep the government open, but he refused. Why? Because he cares more about appeasing his far left base and keeping the money flowing to illegal migrants than he does about federal workers missing paychecks, right? And then when he gets pressed, as you guys can see, about tax cuts and who they really help, he pivots faster than a broke baby daddy when the rents due. Because here's the truth: 90% of Americans take the standard deduction, and Republicans fought to protect it, and Democrats wanted to cut it in half while trying to lift the SALT cap to protect their rich buddies in California and New York. Oh, but they care about the poor, right? Please, because the only poverty that they're fighting to eliminate is the one threatening their donor class. And the worst part is this man can't even answer a simple question about whether he supports anti-Semitic statements from one of his own, and he just dances around like a coward because he's scared to lose popularity with his radical base. The leadership, this ain't leadership because it's cowardice dressed into a fitted suit. The government is shut down, real people are hurting, and instead of being a man and standing on principle, he's throwing around weak insults and dodging facts like an intern. But y'all keep voting these dudes in like they actually care, but you need to wake up because this is emotion. This ain't emotional. This is real life. And people out here struggling while these politicians argue over who gets a better camera angle. And if you don't have the courage to challenge your own party's stupidity, you don't belong in office. This shutdown ain't just inconvenient. It's proof that too many of our so-called leaders would rather play partisan games than solve real problems. So yeah, laugh at the circus if you want, but remember, we are the ones paying the ticket price, right? And that's how you got to look at it. He doesn't care about making sure that there's more money in American pockets. He keeps talking about how, oh, the Republicans want to look out for their rich buddies. But if you really look at it, Republicans are stopping crime. They're trying to they're the one that exposed the fraud. They are the ones that are actually reconstructing the whole base when it comes to the Department of Education, when it comes to Social Security, where individuals who are long gone somehow still getting Social Security payments and is getting funneled by taxpayer dollars. So where's the money going? Who is the recipient if the actual person as the name is on the Social Security check is passed? They're dead. So the bloat is more so removing all the scam and the fraud so the money actually goes back into American pockets, which alludes to the simple fact that Donald Trump has so much money coming back into America and not being extorted from it that actually, if you really want to do research and actually know the concept is when it came to taxes and filing for taxes and income taxes and all that, it's really just the government saving your money for the end of the year. You could do that yourself. But the simple fact is the whole filing taxes concept came about when it came to World War II to fund the war, right? In World War. So when we were in World War One, I think in World War II. So what I'm saying is Donald Trump wants to eliminate, taxes because it was never supposed to be a lifeline thing. But people think, and you have the Democrats, for example, thinking they're doing you a favor by keeping your money, but they're doing whatever they want with your money by restricting your monies, by sitting there making you file, and then turn around using most of your money to funnel illegal migrants and then turn around and give you a certain deduction back at the end of the year when they still playing around with your money. So would you want somebody saying, "Hey, I can help you keep your money, but you're going to also your money that you are reporting on and the money that you do receive, I'm going to take a cut from it, but I'm still going to give you some money to act like I'm helping you. But I want to cut from holding your money while doing whatever I want with your money and still acting like I'm doing you a favor when I give you whatever I decide to give you at the end of the year." Crazy, right? So they want to get rid of the standard deduction because at the end of the day, if they hamper down and actually be able to put a cap on Americans when it comes to deductions, when it comes to taxes, because he mentioned they want to lower the deduction, right? Republicans want to keep the standard deduction at 90%. Where he said Democrats want to lower 45%. Basically meaning in translation, just for simplicity, is okay, I would rather tax more to fund more of my programs, such as funneling money to illegal migrants, and I want to take more of your money and do whatever I want with it. but hamper you down. And if you decide that you don't want to do what I want to do and get on my program, then you're going to have to anyway, because I'm going to make you suffer, because I'm already putting a tax on you that's so unbearable that you can't even sit there and be self-sufficient to be able to take care of yourself. So you have to cry to me. You have to vote for me. You have to keep me in power. So at the end of the day, if you want help, you better keep me in office. You better keep me in power. And then I'll think about considering you by giving you these little stimulus or whatever in the disguise of acting like they're helping you. But it's all in exchange for exchange. Yeah, I'll help you. When it comes time, for example, these politicians like the Democrats, when it comes time for them getting reelected to stay in the House or whatever the case may be, they will act like they're doing something for Americans. Like, oh, I'll give you a stimulus for Americans are suffering and free health care, and they'll give you anything they feel they'll benefit you, which they have should have done the right thing in the right place to make sure they prioritize Americans first. They took it away from you and then gave you back something that they knew was wrong from taking away from you in the first place. But if you vote for me, I will keep doing a great job to prioritize you. But it's all misleading and deception, because soon as they get back in office and they get reelected, they're going to take things from you again so it benefits themselves for their own enrichment, let alone their party. It's a scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme. All of it is. Act like I'm helping you, like me, and then I'm gonna sit there and do what I want with you, and you still gotta cry and ask me for help because you need me. So at the end of the day, there Democrats are really who are the ones that are really not trying to negotiate. I'm gonna let you guys. We having a conversation. Who do you think are the ones that are really not trying to negotiate? Republicans or Democrats? Because Hakeem Jeffries is talking about Donald Trump and where's your little friends and this and that. And the Republican here, as you have seen, um, Mike Lawler, he's actually trying to have a conversation in regards to policy and say, look, you could have kept the government running. Not to mention that the Republicans said keep everything the way it is to keep the lights on in the government. We're not going to change nothing. Democrats said, nah. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I hope you got some vibe from this video. Give this video a big thumbs up. Catch you in the next one. Peace.